Hey there, it's your girl Kelsey. I just wanted to let you know that I just finished creating a brand new group program with my friend and awesome mentor, James Wolfe. He was actually one of the guests that we had on the show a few episodes back. He's a shaman, a sage, a guide, and we wanted to create a 6-week group program that's really intimate and really healing to help support you guys through your fear, your shadows, and anxiety with the utmost love and respect so that you can learn to understand yourself better, take better care of yourself, and ultimately create a life that's filled with more balance, harmony, and equilibrium. So some of the things we're going to go through in this program are to teach you to understand and break through what's keeping you from your desires. We're going to help you dive into your shadow to work through your blockages and experience more equilibrium. We'll definitely be filling your anxiety toolkit with supportive herbal plant medicine and things of that nature that are really helpful, especially during these times. And oh my gosh, I'm running out of breath. There's so much good stuff. You're going to learn to live as nature in order to experience more balance and harmony in your life. So if you're someone who's resonating with this message and you feel like you would really benefit from being a part of this group, I'll put the link in the description, but it's just kelseyaida.com/HAC. That stands for Holistic Alchemy Circle. And the first 12 people who come in are going to be the lucky duckies who get to work with us.
Hey guys, welcome to another awesome episode of Hi Vibin' It. Really good episode. You guys might remember our guest for today from a previous episode, Tom Paladino. He came on to talk about his success and research in treating certain pathogens through Scalar Light technology. So we're really excited to talk to him today. Tom, why don't you just kind of take us off. Tell us about what you've been doing and how it's been going for you.
Okay. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Kelsey. Great to be here again. Thanks for the invite, ladies. Let's start with this. I'm a researcher. I work with energy instruments. They're known as scalar energy instruments. And why is that important? Well, these energy instruments allow me to control germs, microbes. So let me first give you a backdrop as to what I'm doing. I'm working with the energy of the stars. Scalar energy, scalar light, what I'm working with is an energy spectrum that is found inside every star of the universe. It's not electricity, it's not magnetism. So I've developed these scalar light instruments, and I can control this dimension, this energy spectrum, which far exceeds, in my estimation, what you can achieve with electricity. So to put it in synoptic form, I have worked with scalar light instruments that allow me to control germs, that allow me to break apart germs, microbes, and that's going to be the center point of our discussion today.
Very cool.
So the way that I usually try and explain scalar light to my friends and family is that it could be similar to, or even the same as what some people would call life force energy, prana, similar to like the healing energy that comes through when people perform Reiki. Is that correct? Am I on the right path in saying that?
Precisely. Scalar light is prana, chi, or what some people call life force energy. So those energies, prana, chi, they're not electricity, and they do not behave like electricity. So again, there's so much more that you can achieve with prana, chi, or scalar energy as opposed to electricity. And again, we'll explore what we can do with this incredible energy.
So sorry, go ahead, Kels.
Oh, I was going to say, tell people a little bit about the instrument and how you use people's photos to kind of have permission to give them this treatment. Because I think we just need to go back to the basics real quick for a few minutes, just for the people who haven't heard our first episode.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So when I work with people, I work with people by way of their photograph. That is, this instrument can target a person and can send energy to a person by way of their photograph. So people will email me their photograph, and in so doing, I place their photograph inside the instrument. Now consider this, the instrument works like a satellite and can find a person, locate a person by way of their photograph, and then send favorable energy into their body. So the instrument works like a satellite. These are custom built instruments. I work with people remotely by way of their photograph, and I can send this scalar light broadcast of energy anywhere in the world by virtue of a photograph of a person's skin. Quite fascinating. Again, this is not electricity. I don't know of any electrical instrument that behaves that way, but scalar energy does indeed allow an instantaneous communication by way of a person's photograph. And these instruments, again, they're calibrated to control molecular matter. A scalar energy instrument, a scalar light instrument, can control the molecular bonds of physical matter. Now, in this case, I'm going to speak about microorganisms, microbes. So if I were to calibrate this instrument accordingly, I could break down the molecular bonds of a virus. And it's my contention that this energy has proven to break apart viruses in the past. It's my contention we're doing that today.
Wow.
I mean, that's just so fascinating. And immediately I'm really mindful of how people will perceive every episode. Now, I'm still going to say what I want to say, but I am mindful of how people will perceive it. And in this conversation, I'm sure you've heard this many, many times where people are like, maybe a little antagonistic towards you because this is such a foreign idea. And immediately what I want to say is, I really want to bring it to the forefront that you are not here selling anything. You are not here trying to like pull people into this like you're literally asking people to send a photograph and see what happens. Like, I think the way that you work is so beautiful because you genuinely just want to help people, and you genuinely just want to clear people and ease their minds and make them feel calm and healthy. And that's exactly what you're doing. So for anybody that's like feels weird about this idea, I get it. It's a weird idea. However, it works. And in my opinion, I have no doubt that it works. And what have you got to lose? Send him a freaking photograph. You know what I mean? It's not like you're trying to sell people anything, right?
Right. And to speak to that point, the greater majority of people that we work with around the world, we provide free sessions.
Right.
I understand there's a need out there. We actually built a new website, and we're offering everybody in the world 30 days of free sessions of Scalar Light. The website does not have a menu bar for pricing. It's a website dedicated to the world. I'd like to work with everybody in the world free of charge. Mm-hmm. And that's why we built this website. I'm going to give the audience that website. It is freescalar.net. F-R-E-E, Scalar, S-C-A-L-A-R, freescalar.net. That's a newly built website. Anybody in the world can register and upload as many as 7 photographs of family members. We will work with you. We'll send this helpful energy into your body for 30 days, no questions asked. We don't ask for a credit card. We don't ask for any medical records. And thus far, it's turned out to be quite successful. And over 10,000 people have already signed up on this website. And it's very popular. And we're working with people around the world.
Yeah. And if you're listening
really
to this
cool.
show, this is not that foreign of an idea because like Kelsey said, and like Tom has illustrated, it's like Reiki. Energy work is real, you guys. Like, we are energy. So this is not that far from that. Now, just go over one more time for people that aren't familiar with your work. What do you require, or what are the guidelines for sending in a photograph? What do you need in that photo?
Yeah. When people upload a photograph, all we need is some photograph of your skin. We prefer a photograph of your face. And we ask for a photograph of your face. That way we can identify you. Some people are sending in photographs of others. So what we ask is that when you do send in a photograph, we ask for your photograph and a photograph of your face. Now, that photograph does not have to be a current photograph. It could be 2 or 3 years old. It doesn't matter. Because in a scalar energy dimension, everything is recognized in the present moment. So to put this into motion, just when you upload photographs of yourself and your family members, just send us photographs, and preferably of your face. The age of the photograph does not matter. Please include your pets. Your pets can benefit from this. I'm sure that your pets have germs, microbes in their body. Please share this website with others. you have nothing to lose except your germs, as I say. The
I
website
love it.
is the website is free. Okay, we don't ask for any personal information. Do not send us your medical records. Per se, I am not a medical physician. I am a scalar energy researcher. It's that's my proclivity in life to research this energy. So, with all of that in mind, the website is freescalar.net. You can upload as many as 7 photographs of your family members. Pass this along. I'm sure other people would like to avail themselves of these sessions.
Yeah. What other things do you work on too?
That's a good point. Earlier this week, I had a woman who presented us her test result for herpes. After suffering from the herpes virus for 30 years, she had a test result, and that test result showed it was negative. Now, last year, I worked with this woman. Last year, we administered Scalar Light therapy to this woman. And it took her a few months to get a test result after our sessions. But actually, on Monday, she presented to me her test result, and it's negative, no viral load. Now, we see this commonly. Okay, people have follow-up diagnostic tests after the Scalar Light session, and we can prove that people, by way of their diagnostic tests, we've been able to eradicate the herpes virus. So in total, the current reach that I have is I am able to disassemble over 400,000 species of microbes, 400,000 species of viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoan, prions. So we call this a pathogenic cleanse. And in essence, I would say the common germs recognized by science today, we can eradicate from the human body, whether it's the herpes virus, certain types of bacteria that would cause, say, strep throat or tuberculosis, etc. And if you visit our website, we have hundreds of diagnostic tests that speak to that speak to the point that we are successful in eradicating germs. I want this to be an instructional interview. I want this to be uplifting. I don't want to place fear in anybody's heart. Let's look for a solution to this problem.
Right. And that's exactly what you're doing. I just think that your work is so amazing. Now, the last time we talked, we submitted photos to you and you mentioned the first things that people usually notice after this treatment has begun. So what will people start to notice first when they submit a photo and start getting this treatment?
Sure. Initially, people usually feel a surge of energy. This is such a powerful instrument, and this scalar light that is being broadcast into your body, usually people have a greater sense of wellness and vitality. Some people say that at night that their dream state enhances. We've seen that scalar energy, which is really instructional energy, will have a direct interface with our brain waves and our 7 chakras. Well, accordingly, a lot of people say that they have a deep, meaningful sleep. I know that I sleep like a baby. I sleep very well, and my sleep is uninterrupted. Invariably, many people will say within the first few days, they feel this pathogenic cleanse in which, let's say they had a sinus infection. That many times will clear up within the first few days of this pathogenic cleanse. So there's many favorable occurrences within the first week, say, of this therapy. I want to underscore also that this is light. We're working with starlight or sunlight. There's no chemical being used. So there's no chemical die-off. There's no chemical reaction. We're working with light, the pure light of the universe, this divine light, God's light, which many of us call zero-point energy. I call it scalar light. So this really is a non-invasive way to wellness without the complications, without the die-off, without the detox.
I noticed my mouth felt cleaner. You know, the plaque buildup. I was like, dang, I don't even need a brush. I mean, I still did, but it was it was pretty good. It was amazing.
Let me speak to that point, and we'll explain what we're getting at. Obviously, especially in the morning, you have a biofilm, you have plaque buildup on your teeth. Well, I usually perform this pathogenic cleanse early in the morning. And many people tell me that they can feel the before and after. In other words, they wake up with a gritty biofilm on their teeth. After I work with people and we break down, we disassemble the bacteria in their body, okay, they feel that their teeth are clean, that they no longer have that gritty biofilm. That's one of the consequences. That's a sequence of the
See,
scalar
Kels
light.
told ya.
Yeah, that's one of the sequence of the scalar light pathogenic cleanse, and you're very astute. And many people pick that up. So if we can disassemble and eradicate the pathogens in the mouth, we can do that likewise throughout the rest of the body.
That's awesome.
Hello, hello. We just want to take a quick break to introduce our sponsor for today's episode, which is BeetElite. And as many people who know me well know, I'm a super active person. I love dancing, Pilates, yoga, weightlifting. And I'm always looking for really clean, nutritious products that are going to help improve my performance. And that's why I started taking BeetElite. So BeetElite is basically a powder you put in your water, but it dissolves really good. So it's not like crunchy or chalky or anything weird. And it helps to extend your endurance, improve energy and stamina, promotes oxygen efficiency throughout the body. And I find that it just makes my workouts more elevated. It helps to get oxygen flowing. It helps to get oxygen to my muscles faster. And just thinking about that while I'm working out, I'm always like, I got to breathe deep. I got to get that oxygen from BeetElite to my muscles. And it tastes like surprisingly really good. Like I don't even like the taste of beets because I think they're kind of gross. But BeetElite doesn't really even taste like beets to me. It looks beautiful, like the color of a beet, but it tastes like berries. So it's really good. I would say it's almost like the equivalent of what's that drink that little kids drink? Like a Capri Sun, but for adults, but for high performance, and that's not loaded with sugar. If that's a good analogy. So I'm loving BeetElite. It's really great. It's trusted by hundreds of professional teams, elite athletes. So you know that you're getting top-notch performance nutrition from BeetElite. So be like me and take your game to the next level with BeetElite by going to livehuman.com/Vibin and get 20% off your first purchase. The team at Human is making this offer exclusively to our listeners only, and you won't find a deal like this anywhere else. That's livehuman.com/Vibin, livehuman.com/Vibin to get your BeetElite on.
Yeah, guys, go check out BeetElite. It's awesome. And now back to our conversation. See, and that's at this point, I want to say, if you're listening to this episode and you're not already on Freescalar, is it freescalar.net?
Yes.
If you're not already on that website submitting your photo, what are you doing? Get on that website. Seriously, what have you got to lose? You have, besides the germs. I love this work so much. I just think it's so fascinating. And like, if you came on and you were like, yeah, give me $1,000 and I'll make sure you don't get it. Yeah, that would be a little weird, but I love you so much because you're so genuine and you just really want to help people. And this technology, if you can just get on board with this technology, if this is a thing and more people know about it, oh my gosh, like what do you foresee happening if more people become aware and really accept this idea that scalar light energy healing is a real legitimate thing?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. I am a humanitarian. I'm a Christian. I want to help people. This is not a money-making organization. I'm not a banker. I'm a scalar light researcher. My design in life is not to make money. I did not spend 40 years in research to make money. I spent 40 years in research to bring forward an emerging technology that's going to help mankind. And I will say so for my predecessors. There are many scalar light researchers that likewise devoted their lives to this technology, to this new and emerging technology. And I give them the accolades that they deserve. And hopefully people will see my sincerity. There's a website. We offer everybody in the world free sessions. The website is freescalar.net. You can share that on Instagram. You can share that on Facebook to your delight. The point is to get people well. That's the whole point. This is a healing ministry. We focus on healing. So help us.
Yeah, and we'll put that link definitely in the description, so nobody will have to go searching for it or memorize it. It will be there. But for real, I really want to know, like, I think we talked about this a little bit in the last interview, but what is your ultimate goal with Scalar Energy? You know, I know you're not here just to help 10,000 people.
On account of the fact that this is so easy and that all we need is a photograph to send this transmission of energy, my goal is to heal the world. Billions of people, the world, everybody who wants to participate. My goal is to heal mankind, the world.
And that's a huge goal. It's a
Yes.
great goal.
And we will accomplish it because it's not that difficult.
Right.
How difficult is it to submit a photograph?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So how many can your machine take at one time? I mean, I guess it depends on how many people are in the photograph, right?
You know, I've never mentioned this publicly, but I'll mention it because you two are so in tune to what I'm doing. The instrument can easily work with 2-3 billion people a day.
Whoa.
Wow.
Easily, because the photographs can be miniaturized. We could
Right.
work with half of mankind in one day.
Wow. So in 2 days, everyone's treated.
Everyone's good.
Scalar Light, easy
That's
peasy, good to go.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Okay, so I don't know if I want to ask you to get technical or say as non-technical as you can so people understand, but I really want to see how you break down this in layman's terms, I guess,
Okay.
of how this technology reaches people from a photograph.
Okay, all right. I'm going to give you an analogy. I'm holding in my hand my cell phone. My cell phone transfers my voice by way of a signal to somebody else. Now, it's not me, it's not in the cell phone, it's my voice being transmitted. Okay, likewise, your photograph, once I place your photograph in my instrument, it's not per se your physical presence in my laboratory, but I can make a connection with you by way of your photograph as I can make a connection with you by way of my cell phone. So if two cell phones can speak to one another, then my instrument works like a satellite and I could speak to you, so to speak, by way of your photograph. Now this is peculiar to a scalar energy force field. This is not readily achieved in an electromagnetic force field because in an electromagnetic world, everything is not directly connected. But in a scalar energy force field, it's called quantum entanglement, in which everything is connected and everything is communicating with everything else in the universe. So once you enter into this dimension of scalar energy, you have immediate access to the universe. That's the quantum field. Some people call that consciousness. And that's why it's so far superior to that of an electromagnetic instrument, an electromagnetic dimension. The electromagnetic dimension is quite limited. The scalar dimension is unlimited. It's God's energy. And if you could put it in that context, God can communicate with everybody instantly.
Wow.
Word. I love
That
it.
is so cool.
That's a really good explanation. I feel like you really tackled it from all angles. So people who think in all these different ways can really like grasp their mind around it. And to the people who still feel like, I don't fully understand how it works, so I'm skeptical, it's like you probably don't fully understand how your TV works and how you can change the channels, but you still use it to your benefit, right?
That's true.
Because it's easy and it makes your life more fun. So you might as well give Scalar Light a try because it's easy and it's going to make your well-being even better.
Thank you.
I like that. Yeah.
You don't have to understand the ins and outs of it. That's for Tom to deal with. He can understand and figure out how it all works, but you don't need to in order to benefit from it.
Yeah. It's taken me years. You know, I'd be happy to explain it to people, but it would take a couple weeks. It is involved. It is involved. So for the sake of this conversation.
How long have you been doing this again?
40 years. 40 years. My life. This has been my life goal. 40 years.
And you got started with in part with inspiration from Nikola Tesla. Is that correct?
Yes. As when I was young, I read about Nikola Tesla. I was so enthralled with what he was doing, and I knew instinctively he wasn't working with electricity many times because what the instruments he devised were not electromagnetic in character. And I don't know why a greater number of people don't pick this up and figure this out. The latter part of his life, he was working with scalar energy, and the instruments that he created could only operate and could only function with a scalar energy capacity. And that's why much of his work has never been duplicated. The latter part of his life, nobody's been able to touch him because he was using scalar energy. People try and use electricity to duplicate his works. You can't do that. You can only duplicate much of Tesla's latter day works by way of scalar instrumentation.
That's so cool. I love
So
Nikola
you're
Tesla.
saying that you don't have a super high electricity bill by creating all this.
That's correct. You're absolutely right. I do not. And in many ways, I think that in my laboratory, I think it fills the laboratory with the point, what we call over unity. And I think that reduces my electrical consumption.
Nice.
That is so funny.
Well, my boyfriend asked me to ask that question. He was like, so is this guy's electricity bill like really high or what? He's treating all these people like I don't understand. I was like, well, I'll ask for you.
Consider this one scalar light instrument. I've never mentioned this publicly, but I am compelled to do so because both of you are so favorable to my research. One scalar light instrument can work with 2-3 billion people a day.
Yeah.
Now imagine how many hospitals would you need to work with 2-3 billion people a day? How many hospital beds? How many physicians? How many nurses? How many syringes? How many operating tables? Okay, this is a game changer. And when the world realizes what I've accomplished in the medical field can be duplicated, say, in energy generation, in telecommunications, well, eventually we will learn by scalar light instruments. This changes everything. This technology changes the world.
Now, one caveat to that is you are not sharing these instruments with people. Is that because I remember you saying in our last interview, you don't want this in certain hands?
Yeah, I'll be blunt. It's a great deal of power, and in the wrong hands, it could be used to harm, frankly. So I offer the service, but I will not share the schematics with the general public. And for good reason. I have to guard this technology to the point that when I do decide to work with people, it has to be somebody of a high moral character and somebody who wants to help mankind. It's a tool, and you could use a hammer for good or for evil. Okay, I'll leave it at that. And likewise, a scalar light instrument can be used for good or for evil.
Yeah. Let's talk about the emotional payoff that you get from helping people, because I know there's going to be people out there listening who are still skeptical because they're like, well, if he's not motivated by money, like what is he motivated by? And clearly you're motivated by helping people, but can you speak to like how it makes you feel when you actually do that?
It's the greatest feeling I've ever had. It's the greatest feeling I've ever had. And I want to set the tone. I've been researching for 40 years, and most of my life I've had to and I did not pursue this on a full-time basis because I had to pay the bills. I don't attach myself to any university. I certainly don't attach myself to government or big business. So why am I doing this? Well, this is my gift to mankind. God gave me this intellect. God gave me this wisdom. So I feel that I have a duty to give back to God and to mankind. Now that's altruistic, and hopefully those in the audience who can cogitate on that and accept that. Yes, this is an altruism on my part, but many of us are altruistic. And I would simply say, if you have any misgiving, go to the main website. The main website is scalarlight.com, and you will see hundreds of diagnostic tests.
Guys. Hundreds. I've seen them.
Hundreds of diagnostic tests in which people who once had herpes no longer have herpes. People who once had HIV no longer have HIV. People who had the Epstein-Barr virus are now clear of Epstein-Barr virus. Hundreds of diagnostic tests from hundreds of clinics around the world. And I realize many people demand proof. There's your proof. Go to the website, read those 100, 200 diagnostic tests, and you will come away with the force of the matter that this indeed is relevant and this does indeed work.
And now I think a lot of trepidation might not even be the ease of which you help people and how easy it is to submit, but the fact that it is so huge, that it is
Yeah.
so life-changing. Now, I'm genuinely curious, and I can't remember honestly if I asked this question in the last interview, but I'm genuinely curious what kind of research or success or, you know, anything that you have on treating cancer.
Cancer is going to be a different instrumentation.
Yeah.
God has given me some visions as to how to build this instrument. I do not have the ability to work with cancer, cure cancer now.
Mm-hmm.
There was a man, his name was Antoine Prairie, and he developed a scalar energy instrument, a very powerful instrument back in the 60s that was proving to cure all types of cancers. So in many ways, if I can duplicate what this man Prairie did, then I will be successful with cancer. But right now, that's not
It's not
within
something
my,
you offer.
yeah, no. So,
Got it. Okay. No, I really was just like, I wonder about this, because, you know, that's huge. That's a huge one. Yeah.
I have a more spiritual question because our audience is really into spirituality and spirit guides and intuition and all of this type of stuff. And I'm wondering if you're open to it. You can say no. But if you're open, would you be willing to share maybe some of the people that you feel like are on your spirit team or kind of cheering you on as you pursue this endeavor, or places where you might get inspiration or ideas from?
sure, I'd be happy to. Over the course of my life, I've received messages from Jesus and Mary, and that's been the key. And really, when you look at this type of work, it's groundbreaking. It's never been done before. How do you get the inspiration? Well, much of my inspiration comes from Jesus and Mary. And I'm going to give you a corollary to that. Nikola Tesla, the great inventor, many times Nikola Tesla would state that he would see an invention in his mind. He would have this intellectual vision, and he could see how to build something without putting it on paper, without experimenting. Well, many times I can see an invention, or I can see what I need to do. Now, keep in mind, I'm one man. I don't work with any other scalar energy researchers. So what I've accomplished, besides the engineering, what I've accomplished is on my own. How could I do that? How could one person do that? Because I don't have to experiment. I don't have to go down the road of trial and error. God shows me what I need to do, and I get it right the first time. Now, this is what happened to Nikola Tesla. Tesla would have these intellectual visions, and God would show him what to do. You know, if you're starting to experiment, you can conduct 50, 100 experiments and fail. Okay, I don't have time to perform 50 and 100 experiments and fail. Okay, I would have died by now. Okay, there's just not that enough. There's just not that amount of time. So I consider these intellectual visions. This is supernatural help from God. And that's really the key here. That's why I can achieve what I can achieve.
Yeah. So you basically get the download, you put it into action.
Yes.
Do you have any tips for people listening on kind of how you get into that mental state so you can receive the download? Is it like in the shower, when you're driving? Do you meditate?
Be humble and
Okay.
accept God's help. God wants to help everybody. What I've achieved, everybody can achieve. Okay. I've not been given any greater number of gifts than anybody else. If I can do this, anybody can do this. What is the distinction? What is peculiar about my work? I listen. I listen. When
Yeah.
God tells me to do something, I listen. I don't argue with God,
Yeah.
and I don't have my human ego get in the way. I listen.
I
And
don't
it is
argue with God. I love that.
it is a big thing, you know, if you get this message that like, maybe I'm supposed to heal the world. Wait, what? It is a big thing. So it shows a lot of courage to listen in those moments. And I would also say that you are attuned to receive that particular thing. Like, of course, anyone can do this. Not everybody wants to. Not everybody, you know, has that desire, but you have the perfect blend of desire and ability and the willingness to listen and be open to that. You know, anyone can paint a masterpiece, but I'm not picking up a paintbrush anytime soon. It's just not, it's not my thing. So I think a great message that you illustrated is find your thing and listen. Perfect.
Yes.
And don't argue with God. That's a great rule. Number one. Rule number one.
Yeah.
When is that God anyone anywhere?
You're right. It's so simple. Now, this again, this is not. I don't want to sound elitist by making these statements. Everybody has this ability.
Yeah.
Scalar light is the primary mover, is the animating force behind cognition, any type of creativity, prayer, any type of emotional expression. So scalar light, this light from God, is the cause of our thinking, is the cause of love, is the cause of emotion. Now, all of you in this audience, all of you think, all of you have, everybody's capable of this cognition, everybody's capable of this creativity. So I don't want this to sound elitist. It is not. I am trying to inculcate this matter that this is tenable, and everybody should and will indeed grasp this concept one day. This is why prayer and positive thinking is so important. Eventually, the way you think and what you believe is the reality that you create for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we teach on the show all the time, right? Being conscious about what you're creating, what you're, how you're feeling, so that you can be a match to the things that you would like to experience, as opposed to the reverse, obviously. And I'm curious, I want to hear some more success stories from you, Tom. Like, are there any recent cases that really just stand out to you as really cool? And it can be treating anything.
Oh, sure. Somebody came to us recently, and they had been suffering from an infection for years, and to the point that they always had scaly skin, and they had splotches on their skin, if you will. And I think it was a combination of eczema and bacterial infection. Well, we worked with this person, and within a few days, this scaly skin started to clear up, and after a month, no more scaly skin. So, people who've had skin rashes for years and who've been trying to eradicate that with ointment, et cetera, when they come to us and we perform a pathogenic cleanse, sometimes, not always, sometimes we can eradicate that pathogen, that bacterium that was causing that skin irritation, that skin infection, and now their skin has returned to normal. So after years of suffering, and it only took a few sessions on our part to eradicate this pathogen, and the person now they're very elated. The fact that they don't have to use ointment anymore, the fact that they don't have that discomfort anymore. Let's face it, a skin rash, a skin infection is sometimes it disfigures the skin. Sometimes it's embarrassing, but it's obviously causing a great deal of discomfort. Stories like that they really touch my heart. The fact that we could reduce so much suffering around the world.
Can you, I don't know if this is like an okay topic, but can you talk about the person that I read an article on? I think it's on your website, about the person who had the brain worm.
The
which
brain
is
worm.
so uncomfortable. I can't even say it. It's so terrifying, but I want to hear you talk about it.
Sometimes there's so many different species of worms. I don't claim I'm able to eradicate all the worms, but some people have come to us and they've had worms. And what we're able to do with a worm, we're able to break down the genetic structure, the DNA in worms. And what happens is the worm dies. And then ultimately people will simply will excrete that worm. Now,
I really regret asking this now. This is so gross.
Well,
it's like my biggest fear in the entire world is some
having
kind of
a worm
parasite.
inside your body is
my
the biggest
God.
fear in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can tell you that for sure. Besides losing one of my children, having a parasite,
Wow,
terrifying to me. I can't. Keep talking. I can't.
Yeah, well, especially in the undeveloped world, this is a real problem. And what some people will say, and to be quite blunt about this, sometimes their stool, they see worms in their stool. So that's an indication that scalar destroyed the genetic composition, destroyed the DNA of a worm, and the worm is no longer alive, so that the person simply will remove that by way of a bowel movement.
Oh my God. Now, I don't know anything about, I choose not to know anything about parasite, how you would categorize it. Would it be categorized as a pathogen?
Yes. Many worms are considered to be pathogenic.
They
yes.
are. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about
Freaking gross.
bacteria because I know that there are good types of bacteria in the body and bad types. So when you're doing these treatments, can you explain how it affects that?
Yeah.
Good question.
Let me explain. I work with magnified photographs of microbes, germs. So in
So it's
order
very
for me,
specific how you treat.
yes.
Got it.
So in order for me to destroy a germ, I need a photograph of a germ. So I have photographs of pathogens and parasites. I leave out photographs of probiotic bacteria. So how do I instruct this instrument? I instruct this instrument by photographs of microbes. And I have over 400,000 photographs of microbes. So the instrument will look at the molecular structure of those 400,000 species of germs and destroy potentially now 400,000 species of germs.
So, question. If somebody sends you a photo and just wants to try it with no, like when I sent you my photo, I don't think I had anything like specific that I wanted treated. So what do you do for like the standard just cleansing and clearing, I guess?
And that's the proper word. It's standard. So everybody who sends us a photograph, I scan them for these 400,000 species of germs, pathogens, parasites.
Got it.
And it is a universal treatment, and I don't have to guess, and I do not diagnose. Now, you have to consider the fact that people send me photographs from around the world. Most of these people I've never met. I have no idea what their medical condition is, and I do not diagnose. So how do I administer this energy efficiently? Well, I work with everybody identically, and I have the ability to cleanse them of 400,000 species of germs, regardless of who you are. So consider that this energy is painless in application. It does not cause discomfort, and I'm able to eradicate potentially now 400,000 species of germs, regardless of your walk of life. So it is a universal approach. We call it the standardized session, and it indeed is standardized, and it's designed to be able to work with everybody in the world. That's why I say the day is coming where we will work with everybody in the world, or at least everybody who's willing to give us a photograph, and we will be able to cleanse everybody in the world of pathogens.
Dang.
Very cool. Dang, mic drop from Tom Paladino.
It's just always such a good conversation, right? It's just always such a good conversation with Tom.
Well, you two really, you can attend to this matter, and you see the gigantic potential here. And I thank you both for being supporters, and I thank you both for being students of Scalar Light and really delving into this mystery and understanding the mechanism by which Scalar Light works. It's unlike anything that I've ever worked with. This is why I devoted my career to this. It's a game changer. There's nothing to compare to this technology. This technology just makes everything else passé as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And you guys should know that Lindsay and I are both receiving treatments right now as we are filming this episode. So we definitely wholeheartedly suggest that everyone at least give it a try. We've also been treated in the past by Tom, and it was really helpful. I remember I was going through a lot of emotional distress, and it helped. I feel like it really helped to kind of soothe some of that wave. And also like my skin cleared up a lot, and I don't even have like bad skin at all. It was crazy. And what else happened? A lot of things happened. I remember noticing the first time that I did it. And so I'm excited to do it again and just stay healthy, not get sick. I sent in the pictures of all my family. So you guys should definitely give it a try. We're going to put all the links in the show description, obviously. And Tom, is there any parting words you want to give to our listeners?
I want to be positive, and I want people to see that God is with us, and that there are answers out there. And much of those answers are going to come by way of this new technology, whether it's my technology, what I've discovered with Scalar Light, or other ways of living. So the model in many ways in this world is broken, or it is inefficient. Look for new ways. Okay, this is a new model. This is a new paradigm. God does not abandon us. We just have to be creative and think outside the box.
Yeah. And I would say, like, just look at the news if you're wondering how it's going. I'm sure you already know. Try this. Just try it. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're skeptical, I get it. I totally get it. Do it anyway. Okay. You have nothing to lose.
I feel like right now what's happening with all of this craziness in the world is that the old structures and the old systems that haven't been working for us, at least for all of us, obviously they work for some people, otherwise they wouldn't be in place, but they're not working for enough people, so they're crumbling. And now we have an opportunity to move into this new wave to create new things that are win-win scenarios for everyone. And I just feel like Scalar Light is one of them. So I'm really excited for this. And I'm super thankful for having you on the show today.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for being here. You guys, we're going to continue this conversation over on the Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/highvibe, we're going to ask Tom some more questions about this.
We have some good questions. So head over
and
there.
possibly other fun things. So go check us out over there. And we love you and stay healthy.